Well, thank you very much and welcome to your favorite program, Unfiltered. And that's the way we do it here. It's strictly unfiltered. My guest, Bridget, welcome to Unfiltered.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be back. I was actually itching to come back, and when I heard it's unfiltered, I was like, yes, because
by nature you're unfiltered.
I am.
Do you know people?
I am not.
You're not.
I am not. I am not unfiltered.
You are filtered. That's
no,
new.
Of course, I am unfiltered by nature. No, I can't be filtered, and I think sometimes people get cagey and worried. I think when my appointment came, it was Auntie Joyce Bawa-Mokhtari who said, just exercise a little restraint and you'll be fine.
when the appointment came, let me say something. Now that you brought the appointment thing, I was going to ask you, because somebody called me, a good friend of mine, he's probably watching. He said, KSM Nadia Nekoso, you know, wait, is it for, what did you put? Is it family and friends? How did Bridget? Did anybody say something like that?
No, on the contrary, people were so happy for me.
Yeah.
It was trending for like 3 days. And it's the reason why I even had to make a statement, because there were some who thought that they had waited for so long to hear my name. My name wasn't coming up.
Almost like it's about time.
Yes, it's about time. And I needed to explain that, look, I think the president even said it best when he at a function. It was rather a sad one, you know, following the crash. He was giving testimony of one of the people who lost their life. That was a deputy national security coordinator, and in that statement, he said that his children eat last. And by that, what he meant was, as people thought that man, may he so rest in peace, was closest to him, his appointment did not come early. In other words, even if in your mind you think that maybe somebody is close to a family or a person and they are competent and qualified, doesn't mean that they will be first to be appointed. They are likely to experience some delay in court because, of course, the other people must be given the opportunity, and if there's space, yes, then they come. So people should understand that when something comes late, it doesn't mean that they were never in the conversation. It was just not the right time. Yeah.
Did it bother you for a while? Because I know you're very, very active.
Yes.
And I think even on my show one time, I was jokingly asked you what appointment will you accept, and you gave me an answer. You know, but the time that people were saying,
no,
were you bothered?
No,
were you wondering?
No, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I knew all the way back in February that I was going to serve in the government, but I was not physically fit to do so.
Okay.
So I needed to get better to be able to serve, and to be better physically, to be better mentally. So I needed myself to be in that position to say I'm ready to serve before I took on the challenge.
Okay.
So I wasn't bothered, but I think I had made a statement. No, not a statement. I had posted something on social media. And I think what I posted, even though it had nothing to do with that point, but I posted monkey worked. I was supposed to write monkey business. It was between me, my husband, and a friend in the UK. And it was an inside joke. But I was so tired that day. Instead of writing monkey business, I wrote monkey worked. And that went viral.
I heard about that.
And they said monkey the word. Bridget Otoo has come to write monkey the word, babu the chop.
I heard about that, yeah.
And it was just misconstrued, but look, the original story is even unbelievable. It would sound like a lie. So I've decided I'm not even going to go into the genesis of that story. But it had nothing to do with appointment. I mean, if I knew that I was going to work, so why would I even jeopardize my own by saying? But I thought a lot of people had things on their chest they wanted to get off.
Yeah.
So all they did was to latch onto my message and to let that steam off. And that's fine. But that's all water under bridge.
Great. So you're now working.
Yes.
You've been confirmed. You're a communication staffer.
Presidential staffer. Government communications.
For government communications. What do you think about government communications? Because I think I did a show on this once, and I said, sometimes in the absence of massive communication, you get anybody filling in with gendarme and everything. Do you think that communication is spot on? If not, what is happening? And if it is, why are people saying they don't feel it?
Okay, so one of the best things that's happened to the NDC government is that Ghanaians themselves have become ambassadors for the government. If you're doing so well, you don't have to even shout, stand on the roof and shout. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I will come back to that, but I just want to make that point. And that is, I mean, look at the economy. Before we took over, the NPP did say that we cannot keep the lights on. We can't run the economy. The economy was on junk status.
Yeah, people were on TV promising that we're going to get to doomsday.
Yeah. There will be doomsday coming soon.
There will be doomsday coming soon.
So I know. I mean, the energy sector, I know there will be doomsday coming soon. Expect it. Doomsday will be coming soon.
We cannot run the economy. Things were just on the upward trajectory. So that turnaround, that what they consider sudden turnaround, has shocked everyone. So you have Ghanaians themselves who are out there saying that, look, I used to buy a gallon, the 25 liters of oil for 980 cedis. Some say 1,000 cedis, but now it's 680 cedis. Some places 580 cedis. That is real money in people's pockets. I used to buy maize for this. Those ones, you don't need communication. You don't even need to package anything to go and say it. People are seeing it because the economy is working, and so there is money in people's pockets. And those are the people who are going to queue and vote for the NDC again in 2028. But yes, I agree that government communications, we have to be doing, be going on the platforms, and people do. And I think for me, I think the mistake a lot of people make too is that we have reduced the whole communication to jumping on one program to the other.
Yeah. That,
in the morning you have to line up government communicators on various platforms. I'm not saying it's not good. It's very important. It's very important because we're dealing with a very dangerous opposition, an opposition that is chronically lying. And when the lie comes, I mean, sometimes in a party, you expect that, let the foot soldiers lie. But with the NPP, they're a different kind of opposition. I mean, MPs are lying. Just this past Sunday, you had a member of parliament write that the president flew private jet, went ahead to calculate how much the president spent on private jet, where he flew to, how it was.
Now, you're talking about this deliberate lie, absolutely deliberate lie. Is it something that he sat and said, well, let's just fabricate this? Or he actually thought somebody misinformed him and he decided, well...
So I will try. I was going to give him the benefit of doubt. So assuming somebody even gave him false information, when you are found out, what do? You retract, you apologize and move on. Now he's standing on the lie. He is a king who is naked in the public square. Everybody can see that you're lying. And you're saying, oh no, that's not what I meant. I am just asking the question that, okay, if the president is going, he should have gone this way. If he did 10 hours, it should have been $105,000. I'm not. I only put the question there to ask. But actually, you made an emphatic statement that our president flew private jets. I mean, they've been trying to imitate Ablakwa. But here is the thing. It tells you that Mr. Ablakwa did a fantastic job when we were in opposition. Because when he put his documents out, he wasn't just talking. He backed it with evidence, documents he scanned, made it public, was on platforms to defend it, made impact, will petition Strad where he needed to. Petition whichever institution is involved, right? But these people are low budget at Blackwood. They can't even string a document together. So they try, go on Facebook.
Are you advising them to learn to lie and lie properly?
No, not lie. Blackwood did not lie. No.
I'm just joking on that.
I want them to hold the government accountable. But do so with sincerity. Do so diligently. But don't just, what they are doing is child's play. I say they should leave that to the foot soldiers. I can understand if the foot soldiers are doing that, but not a member of parliament. I mean, a whole reverend took us on a wild goose chase with some fake cocaine scandal.
Reliable intelligence intercepted by the Minority Caucus indicates that on March 20th, 2025, Air Med flight N823AM, which is an air ambulance, and I must stress, it's an air ambulance, designed specifically to carry patients, landed at Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana, and remained in the country for 5 days before departing 1 a.m. on March 25th, 2025, back to Gran Canaria. Our intelligence further persists that no patient was transported by the said Air Med flight, neither to nor from Accra. There is no evidence of medical referral or patients accompanying or on board the flight on either legs of the flight. We are reliably informed that contrary to the expectation that the Air Med flight would carry patients, the purpose for which it was designed and operates, it rather on this occasion carried suspicious cargo suspected to be cocaine and cash in various United States dollars denominations.
Somebody who sits on the, I believe, Defense and Interior Committee, who is supposed to have information that you and I don't have access to, took us on a wild goose chase. And that's why I'm saying that the kind of opposition we're facing is an opposition that is unapologetically lying about things that are not real, things that they create with a figment of their own imagination. And so that is why maybe as government communicators, we must be aggressive in dealing with them. And for me, I like when, Felix Kwachifosu, who is my immediate boss, takes them on when it comes to these things.
In the last few days, the disinformation machine of the new Patriotic Party has been ratcheted up, and they've taken it a notch higher. This time, Reverend Intim Fodjo, who also doubles as the Member of Parliament for the good people of Asin South, has made very wild claims to the effect that 2 aircrafts which passed through Ghana for various reasons were carrying drugs, and that was the reason why they were here. He also alleged that they were involved in money laundering, and therefore he was calling for investigations. As you may be aware, President Mahama gave him the opportunity to present any evidence or any basis he has for making that claim to the security services, so that together we could look into the matter to ascertain whether there was any truth in it. I can report to you that because he knew he was peddling total falsehoods and lies, he now claims, after being invited to assist with investigations, that he was speaking on behalf of the committee that he was part of, and that the views he expressed were not his personal views. So because of that, he says he's unable to cooperate with the security agencies. I say that he was peddling falsehood because the facts as they exist vary completely from the claims that he made. When he made that claim, he was only seeking to peddle falsehood in a bid to undermine the confidence that the people of Ghana have in this government. The truth is that 2 aircrafts with completely different purposes arrived in Ghana, and their arrival was perfectly legitimate, and they were here for very genuine reasons. The first one is an Antonov Flight 12BK with registration number CVK 7037. Now, this flight essentially is a cargo plane which arrived on the 12th of March 2025. Now, no plane arrives in Ghana without a landing permit. So this plane secured a landing permit. Essentially, this is a cargo flight that was destined for the European Union market. And European Union regulations dictate that some specific regulatory requirements be met before any plane of that sort can enter the EU. Now, this plane originated from Luanda in Angola. It was loaded with oil drill equipment and lubricant oil, which were contained in jerrycans. It was headed for the EU market. Now, Luanda does not have the certification to carry out the sort of requirements that this plane had to meet before entering the EU market. Whilst here, it developed an engine blade fault. Its engine blade was damaged, and then it was also detected that there was severe oil leakage, which required immediate attention. For that reason, a replacement aircraft, URCEZ, with registration number CVK 7007, was brought in to evacuate the cargo. The aircraft that was damaged remained here for 13 days. That is between 12 March and 25th March 2025. After it had been inspected by aviation security, officials of the Narcotic Control Commission, officials of National Security and National Intelligence Bureau, no contraband or unlawful commodities were found on the aircraft.
But yes, we will keep continuing doing it because they will not back down. They will not back down. And we must also hold them to account, because the more they do this, the more they are exposed. I mean, now the MP is scrambling for his life, but he still won't apologize and admit that I lied, I erred. Now, okay, you have found the president did not take a private jet. Okay, then he is tired. He went on a long commercial flight. How can we take our president through a commercial? We are exposing our president to this. For crying out loud. Do you need the itinerary of the president? Anybody in this world knows that if you're traveling, your flight details are public.
Yeah. So knowing all this, and I like what you said about if you're doing good, you don't have to go and tell people you're doing good. I always used to say that.
For you.
So what annoys me is when any government person comes and tells me, KSM, you are doing well. No. Let me tell you how much I'm doing or how well I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the fact that you are talking about now Ghanaians don't need to be told themselves. But when you have a very vicious position that will twist and thwart things, what kind of preparation do you need? What kind of backing, standing do you need to have to make sure that you're countering Jandam?
Yeah. Well, no, we are currently online, especially because that's where it starts from.
Yeah.
I think I remember right after the funeral, the helicopter crash, which claimed the lives of 8 of our most brilliant, talented men in this country. After the funeral, it was Sunday. And I come online and I see a man, an account had tweeted that the government had spent so much money on branding coconuts, RIP heroes, and that how can we waste money on that? And I thought, this is not right. So quickly, I put out the information that it is false, because I knew the person who had branded it on his own. And he had done that together with a group. So they actually came under the Exporters Association. They came together, they said they wanted to contribute this. And while
so this was a contribution from them?
Free, not at no cost to the state. The state did not spend any money. We agreed. Why would they spend money on refreshments? What is there to refresh about someone's death? What are we celebrating? We've lost lives. So when I saw that, I was personally offended and upset. So quickly, I responded to that. And fortunately for me, my colleague Kojo had seen it. So he came out and actually gave even better details as to how that came about. That they, exporters, had come together to give about 30,000 coconuts for persons who had come. Yes, you had come to mourn, but if you were thirsty, you can just drink a coconut. And that quickly put that to rest. That young man, that account failed. So they failed to delete that, even though it was a lie. So he's doing the propaganda for that party, the NPP, but they failed to delete it. So when they lie and they are found out, they still stay. So what we do is that we are always monitoring, especially online, because that's where it starts. We have to pick the misinformation, the lies before it gains legs. So we mostly have team online who are quickly watching and monitoring every single day what is happening, what needs to be responded to, how do we respond, and quickly. We don't even need to meet face-to-face online, if it's emails, if it is WhatsApp, these are the points, this is the real thing. So they give you notes, they give you what the facts are, and everybody has it. And we have teams of groups that we work with, and quickly they have it and they can debunk it, because and the fact that you're not admitting to lying doesn't mean that it's not a lie. I think the NPP people have convinced themselves that the more we tell the lie, the more the lie will become truth. They may have succeeded 2015, 2016, but we are not there. We are in 2025. Unfortunately, their modus operandi of lying constantly on people, on things, have not changed. And they will continue to do that. And it's getting worse, because right now they've recruited their MPs. So now it's not just the foot soldiers who are lying. Their members of parliament are also lying. So we are dealing with them.
Escalated the lying.
Absolutely.
It's getting into higher realms.
But it's embarrassing. Sometimes when you go through their comment section, it's embarrassing how their own constituents are calling them out. Then I am ashamed that I have this man, a so-called reverend, as my member of parliament. I am embarrassed that I have this man as a member of parliament. So we will continue to call them out, but we will also be alert, because it's important that, look, our president, what he's done is unbelievable. I don't think that 8 months ago, 7 months ago, there were many who believed that the dollar could come down to this level, the cedi would appreciate to this level of 10.3, 10.5. We bought it at 17 cedis. In fact, I tell you this, that there was a time I was going to pay for my nephew's fees, and I had to change at 20 cedis per dollar.
Wow.
Yes, 20 cedis. So I know how important this means to me. The stability we needed. I mean, every single day I get tagged about cement prices. They tell me, Bridget, you have stopped announcing cement prices because now you are eating and you are full. I've been so busy, I have not paid attention. No, cement prices have actually dropped. Today, if you have 83 cedis, you can get a bag of Sima Foreman. 83 cedis. KSM has dropped from 130 cedis to, I think, 118 cedis. Jata cement is one of the best, if not the best cement on the market right now. It's 95% clinker, 5% gypsum. And yet, the price is almost 16 cedis cheaper than all the other cement brands within that category. So I think 108, 109 cedis compared to 125 or 118 of the other brands. So a company like Jata, we must support a company like that. And the prices are down. So they've stopped talking about cement prices. They've stopped tagging me. Iron rods is down a ton from 9,000 plus to 7,000 thereabouts. This is what I'm talking about. The real change is in people's pockets. Because you knew that several months ago, you needed 9,000 to buy. I knew that I needed 13,000 to buy maybe 100 bucks. But now it's dropped to 9,000. Of course, the real change is in my pocket. So yes, I get it that we must be talking about what government is doing, but I'm telling you that every single person who voted for the NDC government is an ambassador on their own. But on our part, we'll make sure that we keep them on their toes. We'll make sure that the Ghanaian people are aware of what is happening by reaching every nook and cranny, every corner, and telling them about the good policies of the government.
The barrage of negative, it has not stopped. It will not stop. It's worse. It's a barrage.
I mean, the NPP is in opposition for 7 months now, and it's like they've been in opposition for 8 years. No, it's like they've been. I mean, I saw someone, one of the spokesperson for the 2024 candidates, and I hope they bring him in the 2028 elections. Dr. Makun Baum, I hope they bring him to it. I mean, he's one of the easiest candidates to defeat. I'm wondering what he's coming to tell us. So Baumia in 2028 will come and say, in our time, the dollar was 17 cedis. They brought it down to 10.3. Bring me back so I bring the dollar to 17 cedis. Is that what he's going to say? Or that Atopasin has done so well. Let's retire him and try me. I've gone into opposition. Now I know how to bring the dollar back. I'm just wondering what he's going to say. Or that people whose investment they touched during the DDEP, right? They will tell them that's what. And government has been paying. Another thing the NDC government has done, they are paying. Look,
and when I don't know this,
millions of Ghana's NHIS claims. I think yesterday, I wish I could remember the hospital. They have been paid and overpaid. That audits found out that over 100,000 of their claims were fraudulent. So the National Health Insurance CEO, Dr. Victor Bambo, has called that they should be dealt with. But the NHIS claims it is non-existent. They don't owe any hospital. And that has never happened in the history of this country. So nobody is coming to complain about it. And you know, earlier the propaganda was the government is not spending.
Look, do you know why the cedi is stable? No, I want you to understand. Do you know why the cedi is stable? The cedi is stable not because Dr. Forson at the Finance Ministry is doing anything special. It's because government is not spending.
They are not spending. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency.
Okay, government may not be spending on a $97 million whole cathedral. No, government is not spending on that. Government is not spending $17,000 an hour to fly private jet. No, we are not wasting money. But we are spending on what matters, like education, like healthcare. That is what matters.
And I agree with you 100%. Except sometimes I'm like, it's as if people, you know what they say about the media? They say if a tree falls in the forest, does it make noise? We don't know because no media has been there to report the noise, so we can assume it was silent. The same thing we're talking about, and I hear you about people themselves are ambassadors as to what is happening, but you won't believe how effective negative news is.
It travels faster. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
And I can say on authority.
And thank you for the feedback. I think, like they say, maybe even in our state, in our space, we think that we're doing such an amazing job, and everybody knows. But from your feedback, it means that we have to double up or triple up whatever strategies that we have put in place. And for me, I consider that feedback an important one that I would definitely take it back to Mr. Felix Kwachi-Fosu and the team who are part of the communications, both not just in the capital, but all across the country, that look, we must keep trumping it. We must keep saying it over.
Definitely.
Because I mean, if you look at the lie by the Reverend Intim Fojo, for instance, about the cocaine hoax, right? He kept saying the same thing over and over again. Yes, so if we have paid NHIS claims, we must keep shouting and we'll keep shouting. And like this platform you have given me today to talk about it is one of them. Because I have not said anywhere. I think I was just a few days ago that I said, look, I'm aware cement prices are down, but I was so tight, I couldn't really speak about it. So when I have an opportunity like this to say, look, cement prices are actually down, so you should be seeing money in your pockets. It's important that I put it out there. And I make special mention of Jata because it's our own. We keep saying we should support local business. Like saying that be on KSM's show, promote his content. It's the money stays here. Mr. Ibrahim Mahama is not going to run away with the money out of this country. He's not going to repatriate the fund. The funds will stay here and work in this local economy. So it's important that we support him and his business. So that's how and for me, I don't know how he does it, because the quality of Jata cement and the price he is selling it just beats my mind. You know, it should be the most expensive cement, and yet it is not. In the 42 range, it's one of the cheapest. So yes, thank you for this opportunity to even share again what it is the government is doing. I think all of us must be part of that reset agenda.
Because recently, I think the episode we did, and people were calling me. So, KSM, for real? You know, this whole thing that my editor displayed everything, you know, students whose tertiary, the no stress.
Oh my God. So you see another one when you talk about no fees stress.
Yes,
the no fees stress. Yes. So for instance, it is the students themselves who were jubilated, celebrating when they got the alert that our fees have been paid. We didn't even need to talk, right? It was the students who were shouting. So every single university beneficiary will be an ambassador for Mr. John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, you know, by extension. So yes, I'm grateful that every single person, and the amazing thing about what the NDC government has done under the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, is that the way they are handling the economy is every facet of the economy, everyone is experiencing the gains. It's not like some people have gone into a room and they are saying that we are enjoying. Every single person feels it. When you go to the pump and you buy fuel, you know it's gone down. No one needs to tell you that it used to be 18 or it used to be 17.
You know
11.8.
You know it.
12.8.
There was a TikTok thing that I saw recently.
Right.
Somebody who had bought a gallon of petrol was like, wow. It used to be at this point when I spent this much. Now it's up to this.
Yeah.
And it was on the knees saying, Mahama, I beg you.
Yeah.
I did. But something very, very interesting happened. Mahama won the first time he came and lost.
Yeah.
And I have it on authority that some white South Africans had been imported into Ghana to come and help put a campaign against NDC. Yes.
I'm not surprised.
And when those white folks went out and did their own survey, they were shocked because their report was that, people seem upset with the Dumso and the CD and everything, but they are not angry with Mahama.
Yeah.
That's what their own report told them, that the people are not angry with him.
Yeah.
So they said, if you want the people to get angry with him, make him the target.
And that's what they did.
That's
exactly what they did.
And did well.
Yeah, and did well. But here, go ahead.
So I'm saying that people were not angry with him. They were not, But when you hear it constantly, and that's the whole thing
you begin to believe that. And more so, with NDC1 and JM1, they did not do a lot of debunking and denial. They thought it was beneath them.
Yeah.
They gave the NPP so much grace and so much room to tell a lot of lies. I mean, like the hotel in Dubai, for instance, a non-existent hotel. He stayed in this country when he came out of office. Not a single evidence was brought against him.
We know that vindication lies in the womb of time. And with time, the truth would always come out.
Do you feel vindicated?
Of course, any human being will feel vindicated. I mean, the kind of lies that were told about me, I went out of office, I've been in this country. I was hoping that they would carry out some investigations into all the allegations they made about me. I actually challenged them, after I left office. I said, all the things you said, DKM belonged to me. I had a hotel in Dubai, ships in Tokyo Harbor. Me and my wife had transferred World Bank money into Swiss bank accounts. I said, I'm here, I'm waiting. Just come and investigate me.
And even when he was in opposition, remember they sent a team to go and disconnect his electricity, thinking he wasn't paying, thinking he had done some illegal connection. He showed them evidence. You saw how they ejected him from his home. When there was an agreement between the then President Mahama, President Akufo-Addo, and Otumfuo that he was going to keep that home in cantonments. They took a drone there, flew and said, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who had then been voted into office, Nanado into office, and then by extension him into office as vice president, did not have a place to sleep, and so they disgraced him. But here's the thing. You see, when God wants to bless you, wants to do things for you, he shames your enemy in ways that they are dumbfounded. The way the NPP is so deluded till this day, they cannot believe that they lost the elections by 1.7 million votes. That they believe that 2 million of their people did not come out to vote.
The social NPP vote, we had a decline in our vote, about 4 by 2.1 million relative to 2020. It is about 2.1 million and
so in 2020, those 2 million will come. So, I mean, even if you are not smart in math, what is the probability that 2 million people will come and they will do the same thing? I mean, I'm sorry, but you have to be daft, a different kind of daft, to be able to believe that 2 million people will come and vote for us. No. If you are incumbent and people don't come out to vote, it means they are angry at you. It means you are poor. It means you are horrible. It means you are incompetent. It's very simple. And that's why I don't know. I'm so looking forward to them in 2020. I really want to see what their message is in 2028. And as for the candidates, look, they should bring Bawumia. I mean, it's so easy that anybody we put up, right, will defeat him.
Who do you see coming up?
I don't have a favorite. I don't have anything. I mean, I've heard all kinds of names.
Yeah.
But I will say this: whoever they bring, I will support the person. Whoever they bring to contest in 2028, I will support the person. But I heard someone joke that even at PS Stadium, if we bring him, he'll beat Bawumia, and I believe it. And I believe that. I strongly believe that because honestly, they are lost. They are not remorseful. They've not apologized to Ghanaians for what they've done, what they did against them. And for me, every form of healing starts with an admission of wrongdoing. They still haven't admitted that they were wrong. They still haven't admitted that they erred. That taking people's investments, people's pensions, people dying as a result was wrong. That for the first time in the history of this country, you had pensioners picketing at ministries to demand that their monies be paid, be left alone. It didn't happen. Today, it's taking the NDC government, right, to be paying those bonds. And these are the people who want to come back. The same people, same arrogant, insensitive. And I had the privilege of reviewing the Deloitte reports, or this report, before it came out. And when I was going through the reports with the team that was working on it, I was shocked at some of the things that I found. And I think there was it a night of attributes? In one of the expenditure, they spent 600,000 cedis on funeral. I don't know who died, whether it was donation, I don't know. They just said night of attributes. And they spent those past attributes. That's how it was captioned. But Deloitte captioned that as funeral. So they spent 600,000 of people's money. I mean, 39 million of that money cannot even be accounted for because, look, donations that came in, it's ended up with someone. It's not with the telcos. They said it was failed, did not go through, but there is no evidence to support that it was ever sent back. I mean,
quickly, let me get back. Let me get on this for a quick second about this whole idea of recovering the loot.
Right.
And I believe that was Mohammed's card. That was his comeback card.
Right.
I mean, with the
Operation Recover.
but
We'll launch an Operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared. But let me say that the sword of accountability will cut both ways, against both past and the present government.
people had gotten sick and tired of the loot.
Right.
Trust me, in conversations, everybody was really sick and tired of the loot.
Yeah.
And I believe that was the NDC card for winning.
Right.
What is your feeling right now?
Yeah.
Ghanaians are saying things are so slow.
Yeah.
Right. We have not arrested and jailed people.
Right.
What's his name? Some of these people who have been accused, have the nerve even to come on delegates rallies and one to me says he wants to be a governor of the PP.
When the people spoke, okay, whom am I? I'm the MPP Nibio. I am Munti, and I'm a national chairman.
Right.
No, people are saying, what do you expect? Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
There's no push. And one time, Bridget, I was driving and this cop stopped me. I'm like, what did I do wrong? And he came, what's up, KSM? Charlie, he had just come to talk,
Yeah.
And the cop said this. He says, I've been having argument with my friends. My friends are telling me this, ora, say, was it the biasa? And this is a policeman who, I just want to ask you, how do you feel? Do you feel people's sentiments that things have slowed down? We are not aggressive on the looters. What's your feeling?
All right. So, like you said, Operation Recover All Loot. It was an important part of the NDC campaign. Mm-hmm. And when we won, I realized that everywhere you went, people said they wanted the loot recovered, mm-hmm. and it's part of the reset. They say the wheels of justice grind slowly, and it must start from somewhere. I mean, you have to even get the courts in shape. Look at how long it's taking us to get the suspension of the Chief Justice, Bridget Otoo, who is fighting for a fish out of water, still just scrambling for life. I mean, just look at the setup, the court setup. And I think one of the statements the president made in opposition was that the court is such that it needed to be balanced. I mean, he was taking out of court. He wasn't saying he was going to flood there with only NDC judges or whatever, or just people who, no, he just meant that we needed people who would look at issues apolitically, or look at the facts, and not that I was appointed by Nanado, and so I will
be loyal to
him, or not loyal to the case or the facts of the case. So for it to also be successful, the court must also be in that position. Now, one of the things that for me, I think the team that they put together, fantastic team, including Bridget Otoo, Domelevo, Raymond Archer, who is at Yoko, and now Domelevo is now the board chair of Yoko. Is that they already had the cases, so they are looking at it. The Attorney General has been briefing occasionally, telling us what's happening. There's a National Service Secretariat scandal where don't forget that some people have already come to plead. They've agreed. There are people who are willing to testify against their bosses. he said something that is very important. People must take note. The Attorney General says, I don't want to go to court and have my case dismissed or thrown out. When I go to court, I'm going there because I'm getting a conviction. So let's not rush and put cases before the courts because people want to see it. If we wait,
they may end up getting thrown out for lack of evidence or something.
Yes, and we are getting also money. Don't forget that they've also recovered some money. So recover all loot means that, yes, I think people will be excited to see jail. I think when people are talking about loot, they should recover all
the loot.
Yeah. So one, lands that people took, those lands have been reversed back to the state. That is part of the recovery. And maybe part of the things that as communicators we must do in telling the public that this is what we recovered.
This is happening.
Monies that we have recovered, we must make it public for the public to know that a lot of monies have been recovered. Of course, sometimes for security reasons, you don't expose people and say, oh, Kwame is the one who took the money as NSS and he took this person, and so Kwame, we are not jailing him, but we are jailing this person. So I agree with the Attorney General when he says that, look, I have the dockets before me. I'm studying, I'm gathering my evidence. And in court, it says that it's not what you think you know. In the public, you may think you know, but it's what you can prove in court.
Yeah.
So when he's going to court, he must make sure that he's proving it beyond reasonable doubt. So he's not just going to stand before a judge and say, oh, people want to see him jail, so I beg, just do something to put him before jail. No. Do you remember? Don't forget, I think Untumi's aide has already been convicted. So Untumi's person is already, and him, when he was arrested by you saw what happened. The New Patriotic Party politicized it. They went to sit in the streets. I think they just wanted to work. It wasn't because of anything. But look at what happened. You storm Iyoko. Not that the person has not done what he's been accused of. In fact, it wasn't even being held because he couldn't meet the bail conditions, right? But look at what they did. So just imagine everybody, and it's not that they are not getting people. It's almost as if the public has certain individuals in their heads, in their minds, that they want to see, right? Or in their minds, they think may have committed some crime, so they want to see them. And so when they see those individuals even smile, their hearts burn. And I'm with them on that. I assure you that I feel the same way. We are on the same boat, right?
Yeah.
So when they see that, I'm just giving you the Wontumi case as just a single example of getting a big fish and the implications of that. But I need Ghanaians to know that catching a big fish will come with some form of responsibility on their part as well. In other words, they must allow the agencies to also do their work. If they are being held unlawfully, they have lawyers. They can always argue their case and be either let go or jailed, right? But when you are illegitimately telling people to mass up at this place, then you yourself are frauding, you yourself are trampling the process. You yourself are undermining, that's the word I was looking for, undermining the process itself. So you don't want the loot recovered. You just want to see that some action is okay. But that's not it. That's not the end game. The end game is that we must make corruption unattractive to anybody who wants to come into public service and think that it is an avenue to just loot and not be held accountable. So yes, there's a huge responsibility on the NDC government to recover the loot and when necessary, jail, convict. That is what people want to see. And I assure you that as for President Mahama, he's washed his hands like this. Says, agencies, do your work.
Thank you.
If you find them guilty, you have a case against them, do.
In the last election, and we came up strongly and said that if we won the election, we were going to take up the fight against corruption and the issue of accountability of public officers. We're going to take it up very strongly. And so it was a commitment we made to the people of Ghana. And we launched a program called Operation Recover All the Loot. It was a very popular program with Ghanaians, and anywhere you speak and you mention oral, the applause and the response you get was very overwhelming. So it shows that it's an issue that Ghanaians are very concerned about. And of course, the fight against corruption must be important because the ordinary people realize that the more the political elite steal, the more fewer resources are available for the most important things like healthcare, like education, and so on and so forth. So I said last year before the election that this probably was going to be the last opportunity for us as the political leaders of this country to show Ghanaians that yes, we can have a democratic government that is accountable and that takes the fight against corruption seriously. One of the major problems that was affecting our fight against corruption was political interference. The anti-corruption agencies were not allowed to do their duty without being interfered with by the political elite. I have told the public and assured my Attorney General and Minister of Justice that I'm not going to interfere in their work, and that if the anti-corruption agencies go after anybody, I'm not going to try and influence them to drop any investigation against anybody, both for those who served in the previous regime, many cases of which we are currently investigating. We set up the oral committee. It identified 33 cases, and it was handed over to the Attorney General, and he's created special investigative teams to investigate each of them. Some of them, they have found a lot of evidence of, procurement of properties, with illicit wealth and all that. And so with many of them, they're just at the point of beginning prosecutions. Some, they have started the prosecutions, and others are being lined up for prosecution.
And in the coming days, weeks, you will see the Attorney General says he has cases. He'll be putting them before the courts. But he doesn't want to lose. He wants to go there and get a conviction. So I am begging you, I know it's been 7 months, some say 8 months.
So do you think what you've explained is like fantastic? I know there are people who are watching and listening now.
And some of the people are even begging behind the scenes, like they will return some of the money, or return the money. I know they are not happy about that, but plea bargaining is also part of it. They should understand. I mean, even if you watch these American television, they tell you that, look, to catch another criminal, you must let go of maybe one, to jail maybe one or two. Yes, it happens everywhere. It's not just Ghana.
No, but all I'm saying is that I'm glad I'm listening to you now, and I'm glad, and I'm saying people are listening and are now understanding. Because it's like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
We know
there's a
the NHIS scandal. We know this. Then but when listening to you now, and people who are going to be listening now are like, okay, we know that there's something on the ground,
right?
So I don't know whether it will mean, I don't know whether it's Felix or some people, to have some regular conversations
about it. Yes, we've left it, I think, sometimes because of the technicalities and the details involved. Okay, so the docket itself has been handed over to the Attorney General, right? So Attorney General basically handles it, and there were times, and that's why I don't get the criticisms he faced when it comes to the public to update them on some of the cases. I think the public must be open to hearing him that we are tired of the press conferences, we are tired of you must listen to him, because the updates are very important. He's supposed to be in touch with you because it's your case, it's your money that these people took, so you must know where he has gotten to with the investigation. So regularly updating the public is important that he does so. But if we have to support him, why not? We will do so in our capacity as communicators. But our reach is very limited. I mean, he is a lawyer, the attorney, he has the full facts before him, unfettered access. So it's different with him. But I am happy to go on a platform, at the very least, to share highlights of his work, of the work he's done, and preparations to put certain individuals before the courts. I mean, the number of people who are squirming and scrambling behind the scenes to not be mentioned.
I've heard that.
I get it.
There are people begging.
I think that people don't even want convictions. There are times I think people just want name and shame. To be honest, they just want to hear, this person, we said it, But no, that's not what we are. We're not looking to humiliate anybody or to embarrass anyone. If they have taken money belonging to the state, then we must recover that money. Even if they don't go to jail and we get our money back, yes, why not? Big deal. I mean, I think it's important. So I'm begging the public, we're not sleeping. President Mahama is very much interested in this, and he has his eye on the ball. He's not lost focus. He's giving them the freedom, the institutions, the freedom to work and work well. He will not intervene. You cannot call him and say, this one intervene for who? That's why he was voted back. So he will not intervene. You can't even call him to negotiate with what? Even who? If it's anything, okay, talk to Attorney General. So no, the person at the head of this government, he is uncompromising. So who am I, or the Attorney General, to go and say, no, what the Attorney General will do is to do what within the law is allowed. I don't know how much alawa there is, but it's allowed to go. So if it's 70%, 80%, let's recover. But at least, if anything at all, one thing people should also know is that President Mahama, like he said, we as appointees are barred from buying state lands, state property. It's part of stopping the loot. So no NDC person is going to get a house owned by the state, a land owned by the state, because of the privilege of the honor of serving Ghanaians to be buying or be buying things that instead of paying full amount, pay peanuts for it. So this administration, nobody is going to be a beneficiary of that. And that means we have already been stopped the loot at our end.
Let's move on, right? Resetting is a major monumental task.
Yeah.
You know, and I've gone public and I said, you know, wait, I think it was probably a little baby then when I started talk show way back.
I was.
I remember,
I was.
Those
I can't
days,
believe I grew up to watch you. I think I told you, I think the first time you interviewed me, I told you I had called in the program, you interviewed my mommy document. I think I asked the question. I forgot what the question was. I think the first time you interviewed me, I mentioned it. I said about something, but I forgot it. Yeah, so yes.
Yeah, no, I was just making the point that this whole thing of resetting the mind and changing the mindset of Ghanaians has something that has been dear to my heart for as long as I live.
Right.
You know, and it's a monumental thing. Now, JM has come and he has decided that I am going to begin with this resetting.
Right.
From where you sit,
resetting
is monumental.
Yes.
And when you read, and I think you mentioned it in the beginning when the CD was appreciating everything, was like, oh wow, well, it will end. It's a fluke. It won't go that far.
And
we are now 8 months into it, and it's still going that
standing
far.
Strong.
How do you assess what has been reset so far? What is needed more to be reset?
Oh, there's a lot. So I mean, when you say reset, when you pick your phone and you're resetting, everything goes black. So you're starting at the very beginning. It comes with a lot of inconveniences. I mean, even Ghanaians themselves will have to bear some of that inconvenience. And you realize that not everyone, maybe people didn't even quite grasp the depth of the reset when they said it, because you know sometimes even when you go after people who are wrong, they say they are witch hunting. No, it's part of the reset, because we must change the culture that we have. Now, I think earlier I mentioned that in the history of this country, you don't have people going on platforms to say that, and the government owes us. We went and they turned us away. Right now, the National Health Insurance Authority is rather out there saying that go and activate your card. If you don't have it, get a card, because these are the benefits of owning or having a National Health Insurance Authority card. So it's a major boost that it is not a useless thing, it's an important thing. I think NIA, for instance, when you go there, there's no queue there. There is no queue at NIA. They are handling it, and Yayo Koku, I'm so proud of him for that young man, what he's done at NIA. The communication, every single time, the updates. So there's no room for anybody to go and lie to you, a middleman to take your money. They are giving you that. Passports with Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa. They've done their chip embedded, but they are delivering people's passport via courier. So you don't have to go to passport office. They are bringing it to you. So all these are wins, gains that we must nurture, we must grow so it becomes big.
Are people understanding that this is part of the resetting?
It takes time. I think they appreciate it. I think they've realized it's not politics as usual. I think they've realized there is no politics as usual. I mean, people stood in this country. I mean, Ghanaians themselves, they've never. I mean, when NDC was in opposition, they said, in this country, when we say Adiaba Formula, and you might be a question. Things are always going on. But for the first time in the history of this country, things are actually coming down. And you have companies, multinationals, announcing that take advantage of Sidina PQ, take advantage of it. So come and buy. We have reduced declare. It doesn't happen. It only happened during Christmas. And companies just want to up their sales and they do that. But they said they are doing that on the basis of the value of the appreciation of the city.
I went to, and I hope I'm not advertising for Malcolm.
Sure.
But I passed by Malcolm and I saw this sign: stronger city, cheaper prices.
That's fantastic. What an ad. That's fantastic. No, I mean, I think on this platform, we
cheaper prices.
Yeah, I think one of the things you do well with this platform is that someone doesn't have to pay you. You literally promote brands that put money even in this economy. Yes, I think I've started to mention cements, including just cement, and you don't. So I think Malcolm would appreciate it. They don't need to pay you for you to say that, because that was the truth. That was your experience, and you're putting it out there. So yes. So the reset is a lot of things, even the mindset. We must understand that it's not the usual politics. Things have changed. Yes, the NPP hasn't changed. They've not changed from the 2013, 2015 tactics. They are still living in their past. Because if they were, they would have been on an apology tour, not on a thank you tour, which fell apart anyway. So we need Ghanaians, we need to carry Ghanaians along. We need Ghanaians to also shoulder this and know that the reset is for them. It's for them. It's about them. So they must equally hold governments hand in hand and know that the NDC government is working for them. The promise His Excellency, the President John Dramani Mahama, made to them on that platform that he was going to reset the country.
But there is hope on the horizon. Today should mark the beginning of a new opportunity. An opportunity for us to make a difference in our governance and our economic management. We shall reset our dear nation, Ghana. To the millions of my fellow countrymen and women who joined long queues and waited in the sun for their turn to vote for me, you have my sincerest thanks for honoring me. My firm, immutable assurance is that your votes will matter in the work that I'll do to make a difference in the destiny of this dear nation of ours.
And he's done it. He's doing it. How many people actually believe that this economy will be on its own? Look, the NPP government believed that they had messed up so much. They had run the country aground that they believed that if NDC won, we were going to be in crisis. And you saw how much Mr. John Jinapor, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, was on the media platform frustrated about the lack of fuel storage, right? Because these people thought, okay, if we lost, then we don't have. They will be in crisis.
Normally, to forestall blackouts because of the loss of almost 2,000 megawatts of power, we have to make provision for fuel. And this is light crude oil, heavy fuel oil, and distillate fuel. Unfortunately, enough provision was not made for this eventuality. When the fuel arrives, it takes time to import it, 3 weeks to place an order and get it delivered. And when it arrives, you have to treat the fuel for another week and a half to make it ready for use in the generating plants. And so there's a threat of power outages. But my brothers and sisters, don't despair. Like I said, you elected us to solve the problems.
But somehow we turned it around.
And all of Ghana was expecting the crisis. It was, people were saying, okay, good. We have the change that we're asking for. But now let's brace ourselves.
And look at school feeding. Look at school feeding. Look at the secondary schools. Students are the ones coming out to say, oh, and I have egg. Even if it's egg, I have egg on my meal. It may sound like a little thing, but people were eating without even protein on their meal. And that little difference.
Do you get scared sometimes that, what if, because when all these things started, it was like ancient. This is a 9-day wonder. In your estimation, how long do you see this going? Is it going to be a hump, a bump? And what are we to expect?
I know. I mean, I can't foretell the future, but I will say this for sure, that under President John Dramani Mahama, his priority is the stability of the economy. Everything he will get in this system, this country, whatever money we will generate, is to make sure there's stability. Because when there's stability, your business thrives, right? The fluctuation in prices has ceased.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think people cared so much about, okay, the dollar is 17. Yeah, it was worrying.
Yeah.
But they were worried that today is 17, tomorrow is 18, the next day, today the price is 600, next day is 800. You cannot plan with that. But at least,
and not to cut
for
you
the
off,
past 6 months, 7 months, you can plan with 10 cities.
Not to cut you off, you are exactly right, because when the city started appreciating and the prices had not gone down that much,
it took a while.
It took a while because people were expecting it will last.
No, they said it. In fact, the gendarmes, the NPP people were on platform saying that, nothing will come down, it will not happen. But when companies themselves started experiencing it, they started dropping their prices. And when the finance minister, Mr. Atufo, read the budget and mentioned the price of maize, saying they had dropped from, I think, 1,001 or 1,006 or something to 900 plus.
Leadership of President John Mahama, we have begun to change the story. Mr. Speaker, President Mahama's economic management model is working. The turnaround is in sight. Mr. Speaker, the signs of economic progress are visible and measurable. Mr. Speaker, first quarter economic growth is at 5-year high. Our debt to GDP ratio is at a 5-year low. Mr. Speaker, inflation has declined to a 4-year low. Right Honorable Speaker, our credit rating has improved from junk to B- with stable outlook, a 2-notch upgrade and a 4-year high. Right Honorable Speaker, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciations in the years 2022, 2023, and 2024, with no cedi depreciation in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the level of the appreciation of the Ghana cedi has never happened in the history of our nation. Prices of petrol and diesel at the pump have reduced significantly to the benefit of consumers. And the price of sugar, rice, and cooking oil at a 4-year low. 4-year low. The Speaker, maize, maize. One sack, which used to be sold for 1,600 Ghana cedis in January, is now being sold for 1,450. And Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Agriculture has promised that it will go down even more.
When he mentioned that, right, can you believe there was a woman, this was a week after that budget, I picked Uber. I had a meeting early morning, so I had to go with the Uber. But it was an area guy, so let's say he's a taxi, private car, but let's call it Uber. So, but then he had one woman in it, so I joined. I knew him from the area, so I said, it's fine. When the woman gets down, I will. And when I joined the car, they were talking about the economy, and I was saying, and I'll pay. And I said, and the woman, she was happy because she said, the oil. And I said, the oil is 680. I said, no, madam, they sold it as it's 580. And I was like, hey, so she listened to see what he said. Minister, say, Bruno, say 900. There be about from price not buying. In other words, even the price, the minister, finance minister, was high. That is lower. It will be lower on their next, market aid. And I was like, wow, you think people don't pay attention? They do. Because every single thing that happens in this economy affects everyone.
Yeah.
So yes, President Mahama may not go around and put money in every single person's pocket. But in resetting our economy, he has placed money, value in each person's pocket, because now you're buying things cheaper. So your son, your daughter is going to school. The amount you used to spend has come down significantly. Right? Your food has come down. We know how much food inflation. Inflation has dropped significantly. Food inflation in this country was over 54%. It has dropped significantly that even, I think President Mahama just said recently that, we may be getting a single-digit inflation very soon. I think now we are 13% thereabouts. That we may go to single-digit inflation.
We are re-establishing macro stability and the growth momentum of the economy. Inflation rose to a high of almost 23% in 2024 and is currently down to 13.7%. And we expect that by the end of the year to hit single digit.
It may not mean much to the person when they hear single digits, but when they buy their things and they see how much it has gone down or how long it takes for prices to rise, they know there's something different. For me, when I was doing my business, all I wanted was stability, so that I know that I can plan for the next 6 months. You couldn't do that. Every month, every week, it was a new price. Today you buy, tomorrow you go, it says 900, tomorrow 8,000 Ghana, next week 1,002. What is happening? The economy was on a free fall, but now Mr. Mahama, after forcing the team, whatever they are doing, we should just continue to pray for them. We should continue to support them because the impact is being felt by every single person in every corner of this country. That's one. No, nothing. You can't use propaganda. What are you going to tell them? Oh, they think, okay, unless they go and say that, okay, bro is now 900, when we can bring it to 400, and unless that's what they will tell them. But that is what it means, that the reset in the economy, I think is the biggest, to be honest, the biggest achievement of this government, that every single person feels it.
Remember, he was almost lynched some time ago. He said, I'm not going to put the money in your pocket, but you're going to
it was because of the
was almost lynched.
I think they took it. I mean, you know how the NPP is, they misconstrue everything and put
Mama said, I'm not going to put money in your pocket.
But he's ended up putting money in people's pockets.
They didn't
because
understand.
You save money. Yes. Figuratively, I mean, you save money. Because that 980 cedis or 1,000 cedis, 1,200 you're spending on the gallon, it's now 580 or 680, depending on where you find yourself. That's an excess of 300 cedis or 400 cedis, depending on where you find yourself, that you have spent on 1 gallon, that you are spending more. 17 cedis, right? Fuel, 18 cedis for a liter. Now it's 11.8, 12.8. That is money that you have saved. So I see people come online and say, oh, I used to spend 950 cedis in filling my tank. Now I'm spending 750. That's 200 cedi savings. So that is money he has put in people's pockets. And even I think perhaps even Mr. Mahama, that's why perhaps he did not overpromise on the economy. I'm sure sometimes he sits back and says, wow, I can't believe we did this. But that's what happens when you have competent team. People who plan, who are not just talking. Like the president don't come and stand and say, we have the best economic management team. No, but they are showing you. Mr. Atufosin does not talk. What a solid team.
When I look at the economic management team, it is quite clearly a fantastic team. Professor Jambafo, Dr. Akotose, Dr. Afriye Akoto, Honorable Alan Chiramanting, Boachi Ejaku, Ken Oforiata, Senior Minister Yao Osafo Mafu. What a solid team.
It turned out to be a leaky, incompetent, overhyped team that did absolutely nothing but to enrich themselves.
We're wrapping up. I just want you to put yourself in the shoes of the opposition.
Right.
You know, me sometimes to say, KSM, what the way too idealistic. I mean, some of the things you talk about, how do you say all of us should come together? Do you actually expect the minority to come together and say, oh, okay, you have done these and these things, these are gains, so at least let's support you, do the gains? Why not? But politically, it probably doesn't make sense. That's why, to date, you hear people doing all that they can to rubbish what is going on. It began by saying that this was just magic, there's no policy, it was just Trump's dollar.
The US dollar itself is on the decline globally, and that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So
it's temporal. It is not any economic gurus in this country that is causing the city to appreciate and the dollar to depreciate. It is the wealth market that They are not demanding the dollars as much as they used to. That is why there's no competition, and supply of dollar is exceeding the demand. As simple as that. These are basic economics principles.
I know, and that's
if you were to advise, let me put it in a person, you're advising MPP now.
Right.
What would you be your advice to? How should they approach? Of course, I don't expect that they're going to come and endorse Mahama, but what approach would you suggest?
I think first of all, they need to be humble and have a sober reflection on what it means to lose by 1.7 million votes. When we were going into the election, they had this erroneous mindset that they were going with a 500,000 lead, because in the 2020, the NDC had halved, even though I think that it was more, but the tactics that they put in place, thank God NDC found out and dealt with that in 2024. We blocked all the rigging potholes that were there. We blocked it before they could, manifest. So they thought that they had a 500,000 lead, and they lost by 1.7. So if I'm going to go with their own logic, that it means they lost by 2.2 million votes. That's what it means technically, because you had 500,000 advantage, lost by 1.7, so you lost by 2. I mean, I'm going by their logic. It doesn't make sense, but let's stick with logic that 1.7 million votes. So they need to have a sober reflection and think what that means. That was an indictment on everything they stood for. From 2016, coming in, promising a lot. In fact, at the time, I remember they used to say the bar was low. They removed the bar and crawled under, right? The bar the NDC has set, the NPP will never, ever be able to reach it. They cannot. It will take a miracle, but that miracle will not happen in the lifetime of this crop of NPP leaders that we are seeing, because there is nothing remorseful about them. There is nothing sober about them. There's nothing humble about them. They are still deluded. So if they would have that admission, maybe they have it privately, they think about it, but when they come publicly, they try to behave like, in quote, men, but it is very unfortunate, right? It is why you see them and their supporters go on this tangent of insults, right? Insults. I mean, recently somebody threatens to kill the president and his wife, and you have party people, and I'm ashamed and I condemn Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that the person would do that and you would hug the person. What are you saying?
Honestly, I was extremely shocked. I mean, I may have my political disagreements and everything, but I really did think that Bawumia was more dignified than that.
Right.
To hug somebody who has threatened the life of the person, whether the guy means or not, you advise the person.
Yeah.
Say, come here, look, I know you're for MPP, we want to come back and everything, but those words you uttered, the threat to the president was bad.
And
advise him.
Yes.
You know better.
Yeah.
You know better. Prove to the guy that you know better.
Yeah.
But don't go and hug him.
Squeezing him as if like, you did it, boy. You did it, attaboy, go out there, do it again. But that is the real Bawumia we are seeing. The man who was the chair of the police council, who said nothing when hot water was poured on law students. He said nothing when Galamseyers were attacked, when they were jailed for 2 weeks for simply demanding that our water be clean. That was the real Bawumia. So we are seeing that reflect. At least at the time, he was hiding, so you couldn't see. You can only say he was a chair of the police council. But here he is, embracing somebody who was threatening to behead, kill the president, giving a platform to people to say even worse things about the sitting president. I don't think the President Mahama would tolerate it.
No way.
And you are in NPP. You are literally like number one in NPP. And if you are going to be their flag bearer, I mean, what are you saying now? And I read comments like, so now if you want to see Bawumia, all you have to do is attack NDC, say the most horrible, disgusting thing about NDC, and you get a call from Bawumia. That is the image. And I think it was lawyer Oliver Bakavoma who said that things like this in other jurisdictions would end someone's political career.
Exactly.
But this is Ghana.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, it didn't and it won't. And he might even gone ahead and become the flag bearer for the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party in the 2028 election. As for that, I'm looking forward to it. As for Dr. Bawumia, I'm looking forward to him becoming the NPP delegate in 2028 so we can hear his message on what he has been able to figure out. Maybe now he's figured out how we can bring the city back to $1. I don't know. But it was disgraceful, it was disgusting, embarrassing, and it should never ever have happened. What has the First Lady of John Mahama done to any of them? I mean, yes, it's politics, but this was policy beyond the gutters. Politics beyond disgusting.
That was disgusting.
Disgusting. Like them, yes,
I was shocked. I said, really? He went to meet with him and hug him?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Look, that was
folks,
hard. So it will be hard to advise them. But if they do, it's just sober reflection, and think about what it means by that 1.7 million votes, and get out of the illusion that 2 million of their voters didn't come out. No, they came out. They just voted for the NDC.
You have been listening to my main. I won't say my main man.
I'm a chauvinist. The world. I mean, but God says man.
My main woman.
Man.
It's interesting that people are saying, well, if you want access to Baumia,
you need to insult
Mahama and promise to kill him, and behead him and put him in a sack. You may get a hearing. That's what I'm hearing too. If you want to see Mahama, find a prophet. Let the prophet say, "I've seen that Mahama is going to die," and else to come and escort you. Your reaction on that?
No. It's not true. President Mahama is one of the most humble, open, honest, accessible human beings. You don't need prophecy to even get to see him.
How did Ojah get to him? Prophet Ojah?
I have no idea how that happened, but again, it speaks to how humane he is, that even his harshest critics, someone like Manasseh Zuri always says this all the time, even at the peak of his criticism, when President Mahama saw him, he stretched forth his hand and shook him. So that's who he is. So and then I remember when Agrada forced her way through to go and hug him. It did not in any way better her case. She was still jailed, right? But in that moment, yes, I mean, President Akufo-Addo's bodyguard would have probably pushed her or something. But that is who he is. He hugged. It doesn't mean anything. I think if I listened to Mr. Elvis Ifrianka correctly, he's simply saying that, look, it was just too much. The thing with having NDC in power is that there's a lot of freedom to talk. I mean, that's why you're hearing all that, talk. And the NDC government loves to listen. Even if it is the most illogical, insane, just give the person room to express themselves. It doesn't mean that you're listening, you will do what they say. But what would happen eventually is that at least, yes, you're hearing all of that. I mean, I think Mr. Ifriam came and said, yes, they received all kinds of prophecy, 70 to 80% were nothing, right? So at least they feel like they have been heard. They have, I guess it's people are worried that it may give room to all manner of things. Of course it does. I mean, I get it. And their sentiments are legitimate. They are rightly placed. But they should know that the man is not a pushover. He's not someone who you can just go and say something and be deceived. I mean, he's not moved from his Assemblies of God. He's still there, has been there for several decades. He's not going to change anything. But let's hear the prophets of. I just wish it was not always doomed. It's not always doomed. I hope that we get to change that. But it will not give anybody special access to the president or anything. I mean, someone was asking for fuel and car and all of that. But it's part of the Ghanaians to say, we're so dramatic. Dramatic and all of that. But
folks, my main man, woman. Bridget, thank you so much, man.
It's always an honor to come on your show.
It's always an honor to have such a great guest on Unfiltered. And I'll be needing you many more times, sir.
I'll be back. I'll be back to co-host with you. Yes,
please.
We can.
The producer, director, executive. This one is a one-man task. He's nodding his head. Right. So we'll be seeing you soon.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, man.
Yay.
All right, folks. It's been Unfiltered. See you later.
Right.
Thank you.